Oh, I will just stop the transcript. Turn off live caption. Perfect. Okay. So I think we are all aware of this. Why is the caption? No, turn off. No. Well, perfect. I think it's off now. Okay, or not. You know what? I'll just leave it. So I just wanted to start by kind of introducing, or I want us to be on the same page. So what's a mini course? So it's a 5-day activity on campus. It's always the first week of May. Same thing for this year. This year, their participating institutions are Ottawa U, so the University of Ottawa, and Carleton. La Cité is not participating in the project for the foreseeable future. The program runs from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Students have a 1-hour break on campus. And subjects vary, but both institutions try to have a representation of all faculty. So classes in science, social sciences, arts, we try and represent our institution as best as we can. And everyone on campus is technically involved in putting this together as much as the University of Ottawa and at Carleton. I also wanted to mention this. I don't think this was ever brought to your attention, or maybe you didn't know this, but at the university, at Carleton and us here at the University of Ottawa, it's professors, so tenured professors, part-time professors that teach, but we also have students that participate. So let's say a master's student or a doctorate fellow. It's a variety of campus staff that is involved in teaching this mini course. And so it's not exclusively professors, but I find that master's students and some upper year undergrad students do a fantastic job at teaching mini courses. We also have various activities on campus, and some students will have outings, labs, let's say science. They usually spend a majority of the week in a lab. We have on-campus experiences and other things that are part of the mini course. And students do not receive credits for this, but they do receive a certificate. It's automatically sent after the program ends. And this I'm happy to have a discussion if this is something that you have opinions on, but we've decided to remove the enrichment in the program title. Moving forward, it's just going to be mini courses. We realized that no one was really using enrichment in promotion, internally as well as externally. And we also had discussions with some of you that it might scare off some students. We want this to be an inclusive program. It is not only for high achieving students. And so we thought that might be a barrier, in recruitment. I'd be happy to talk about this if ever you have different opinions, but this is what we've decided moving forward with the program. Parfait. So new registration portal for those of you who were there last year. Yay! We had so many problems. We learned a lot. So the structure of the registration for the program and the portal stays the same. There's nothing new and innovative. It's just a newer portal, a newer domain, and it's easier for us to manage in the back end. So in terms of collaboration, we will need to collaborate because we need the new domain to be whitelisted in your schools. In the past, the domain name changed, and we can work with IT. I'd be happy to bridge or to connect with them. But if it's not whitelisted, it won't work for students to register and for you to create your account. You will receive a link to create your account. Dates are in the second slide, but it's really a system of links that's just shared in the portal for everyone to create their account and then send a link to essentially for us to get to the student. Another thing this year that we are changing, and I think this is it's probably easier for us as institutions to manage, we are not doing seats allocation. We've created and we did the math internally based off of the 2019 numbers to see how many seats we need. We're also flexible in opening and closing seats for us to have just enough students in the class for us to pay the professor, essentially. But it would be great for us to have some numbers. As I said, we're both using Carleton and Ottawa, the 2019 numbers. We're expecting for them to be roughly the same. They have been pretty steady in the past years. It will be in the follow-up email after this. I'm creating a little to-do list. If you have an idea, we would absolutely welcome that. And another thing to explore, it's to whitelist, again, the domain, but at UOttawa email and at Carleton. In the past, it was really hard for us to communicate directly with your students. I know that's part of the procedures within your boards and your school, but it would be ideal, it would be easier for us to communicate, because essentially, if you have done EMCP in the past, or if you are new to this, the registration and communications always started from the organizing committee to you, to the schools, to the students. So it's always a game of essentially forwarding emails, because we aren't allowed in certain procedures to communicate directly. I know this might not be possible for everyone. I think we'll have to have one-on-one conversations, but for the project itself and for facilitating our communication, this would be ideal. Again, it'll be included in another email, but maybe for you to start thinking about this and maybe helping me connect with whoever would be making that decision. So that's the gist of it for the new registration portal. Again, we're following the same steps. It's just modern. It's a version of 2023 of what the system should be. So these are the dates and deadlines that we are working with right now. So we're at the bottom left. We're kicking off the project today. November 21st is when you will have your web access for the portal. So as I said earlier, we will, the organizing committee, send you a auto-generated email with your link. Once you get your link, you will create your account, and then you'll be able to log in the registration portal. This will be done before the holidays. December 15 is when the new website will be updated with all the course description. So students who might want to have an interest or want to look at what the offering will be before leaving for the holidays will be able to do so. So same thing as it was in the past years, and we are just mirroring that for the 2023 version. We'll have the course title and a short description on the registration portal for Ottawa U and Carleton, just following the same template. In 2023, after we come back from the holidays, you will have in your account a link that's generated so you can send them out to your schools. Once the school receives its account, they will be able to create their account, and then there'll be a link generated in their login to send to the student. Once the student gets their link, they create their account, and then they're able to choose their courses and submit that for approval. So it's really a four-step approach of sharing general links for all until we get to the student and they can choose their courses. We will close the portal in March. A little note for those who are coming back and are new, this is not a first come, first served program. It is open for 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And then students choose their courses, and then we run an algorithm. So you have time to send out the links, get students to choose their courses. We are not operating on a first come, first serve basis. I think this it really shows how we want the program to be fair for all students who want to participate. So we will run the algorithm, the first one in March, and then we will have a second chance or a second placement from the 6th to the 10th. So essentially, if a student hasn't been placed or doesn't like their course after the first algorithm or the first round of placement, we will reopen the portal as it was done in the past. And if there are seats available, they'll be automatically placed. And then April 30th and the 29th, we have orientations on campus, and the program is from May 1st to the 5th. So these are, again, the general deadlines that were in the program previous to last year. We do have a bit of flexibility in adding, extending some deadlines, but ultimately for us as a program coordinator, we want this to be kind of done before students leave for March break. There's always exceptions, but this is what we're going for 2023. Any questions so far, Saba? No? Perfect. So it's another version of what I mentioned earlier, but this is a registration process. It's a top-down approach. We're still going from the boards to the school to the student. So on the 21st, you'll have your link. On the 23rd of January, you can send the links to the school. The school can create their account. The account is created. The students will be able to get their link, create their account, and choose their courses. And the portal will close on March 3rd. So this will be sent to you after our meeting, but I just wanted to give you two versions of the process. Parfait. So fees and the structure of payments for 2023. So for 2023, it's $160 for the program and a $20 administrative fee, a total of $180. Withdrawal dates. If a student then registers before the 29th, we'll give them 100% of the registration fees, but we'll keep a $70 admin fee. After the 29th, we unfortunately cannot reimburse students. Of course, exceptions can be made, but this will be done on a one-on-one basis. In this new portal, we will allow students to unregister themselves, and we'll be able to track this much better than in previous years. We are working on this. We're not expecting it to be rolled out for 2023, but we will invoice the boards again, boards and schools in 2022. In the version 2 of this system, we're hopeful that students will be able to pay directly. So just wanted to mention this because it's also been it's a little complicated to invoice sometimes, but hope for 2024 that we'll be able to roll this out. It's the university here at Ottawa U is creating a new portal for payments. And so we're hoping that will be rolled out and then we'll be able to bandwagon in 2024. So that's for 2023. And then I think that was it's a simple program. The complexity of the mini courses relies on the fact that there's a lot of students and there's a lot of involved parties, right? So for us and on campus, it's a fun week of activities. But in all fairness, the portal should work better this year, and it should be easier for us to register students, place them, and then roll out the invoice at the end of the program. I will be sending this presentation and the recording, of course, before the end of the week. I'm also working on a one-pager with action items, whitelisting our domain, looking into whitelisting an email to communicate with students better. And internally, we are working on recruitment right now for 2023. As I mentioned in my first email, if some of you have subjects that you would want Carleton or the University of Ottawa to explore, we're more than welcome to look into that internally. Someone told me earlier this week, if I don't ask for something, it won't happen. So if you don't ask, we can't make it happen. But if you do, I will try my best to make it happen. I know in certain boards and schools, there are subjects that might be more on brand and more popular than other subjects. So that's what I had for today. If you have questions, I have a lot of time. Also, I'd be happy to take this offline in another one-on-one meeting in November. I do have time set aside for that. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Emily. Appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you, Craig.
Okay, I'm going to sign off. Take
Perfect.
care, and everybody have a great year.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. I don't think I have any questions necessarily,
Perfect.
but yeah, there were a fair amount of glitches last year. I understand all the, it was a new process and so on and so forth. I reached out. There were a few. I may reach out to you shortly. There were a few little sort of some feedback from some of my schools, and I can't seem to find some of that feedback. It wasn't direct, so I in the past we had with the mini courses we actually used to have a bit of a post year sort of wrap up kind of idea, and I had sort of a few things lined up for that. I'll get back in touch with you, and anyway, I appreciate you helped quite a bit in those troubling times, and that was much appreciated. But it's always very challenging. It is a very challenging short little window in that 5 days where things are just rolling very quickly. But yeah, so if we can try to, address those in advance and
absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Leah.
Yes, hi. Just a couple of things. Just to clarify a little bit, one term I have no idea about is called whitelisting. I don't know what
Right.
that is.
Okay.
So I was like,
Essentially, it's my IT
Okay.
explained this to me, but in your schools and in your boards, sometimes certain domains are at an email or blocked off for students to see. So let's say I want to communicate to your students directly, but I have an at Ottawa U email account. It won't. The
oh
firewall
yes,
will
like
block
a
it.
firewall, external,
Exactement.
not allowed, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Because
Okay.
there's certain barrier, and I understand why they're there, and I think they are necessary.
Mhm.
But we're just wondering if, in the context of this project, even if it's not, if it could be a different email, but we're hoping to communicate directly with students because it can be intense on you to forward emails all the way down to the student and then to come back up. It takes a while, and as Steve was saying, we do have a fair amount of time, but things can move really fast in those 5 days. So by the time we move down and move up, we could save some trouble and alleviate a bit of the work for you guys, essentially.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And just as a quick follow-up to that, so if you
We
are communicating directly with the students,
we
are we also going to be on those emails, or is it at the school location,
it
the
would
lead
be
at the
wait,
school?
I would be at the school location for us, but we could find a way to include you. But essentially, it would be 2 emails. One, this is your course. This is where it is. This is the orientation, and probably a follow-up the night before with the same information. Because when we realized last year on a micro level here at the university that students were placed but didn't know where they were going, and for us it was hard to find where they were and what class they were in and where that class was. So we're trying to communicate that directly, because it's not clear in the old portal where it was. So just trying to fast track that, essentially. Why?
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Emily. I have a
Hi.
question for you, if that's okay. It's probably quite specific to my school board, though, so I'm not sure whether I should just hang back and wait on that or just fire
It's
away.
up to you. Fire away.
Fire away. Okay. I don't want to get you. If it's something that you're not able to accommodate, I don't want to get you in a situation where others hear it and think, "Ah, what a great," you know. And then
Okay, c'est bon.
then we all come at you with a million requests, and I know that's tough. But one of the things that we have looked at the beginning, I mentioned that I work out of the college, which is my role, if anyone's familiar with the School College Work Initiative, is it's SCWI. Through the ministry, they fund the dual credit program, where students are on campus and they take credits in that regard. I think Ottawa U has done a couple of similar things recently, so we're sort of trying to branch that out into the universities a little bit. That is a separate concept to this. However, one of the things that we notice for students a little bit older, so not the grade 7-8 profile that we normally look at for mini enrichment, but in the grade 10 profile, is that there's a subset of students for which for whom they don't understand what pathway they want to take. They don't know, are they college bound? Are they university bound? What does it look like on each end? And they really require that exploration. So one idea that has been sort of tossed around would it be possible to do a mini enrichment week similar to what's done now, but maybe 2 days at the college, 2 days at the university, and maybe 1 day in industry or something like that, which we would work to sort of organize, because it would give that subset of students who are really undecided a little bit of a more authentic opportunity to reach each of the institutions before they choose their courses and do their pathway planning.
Yeah. I'd be happy to, we can schedule something in November to talk about this.
Sure.
But that's easy. I think it's easy for us to put on for 2023. Yeah, I'd be happy to explore that. Absolument. Yep.
Okay, fabulous.
Yep, for sure.
You have my email. Would you mind to reach out to me with a time
No
that
problem.
works for you?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, that'd be fun. I think it's a good idea. We'd have to work with I've never worked with Algonquin. I'll be really honest with you. I work with Carleton, of course, and SCT. But if you could do introductions, we could probably work together and create something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
Tracy Norris is the
Okay.
assistant chair that I work with in academic partnerships. She's fantastic. All over creative ideas and those sorts of things. So
Perfect.
I'm just imagining it looking like a mini modular day where maybe, you know, at the college they explore one thing in the morning, maybe a taste of trades or something, and then a variety of different college courses, and then at the university, whatever you think would grab interest.
Wait.
And even if it's sort of multi-modular and it's not a week-long thing with a focus area of interest, it gives those students a little bit of a spark.
Yeah, I like that. Wait, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so happy to meet you. Thank you.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. We'll be in touch, okay?
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Steve. À bientôt. Bye-bye.